Once you have selected your data, the next step would be to actually create the chart. So you're first going to want to go to the Insert tab in Excel, and then you're going to see a ribbon of all sorts of things we can insert, and a big section of that is going to be the chart, which is going to look like this image that we have over here. So you're going to want to select the chart type. So I mean, there's a couple of options here. Now these are just pictures, but like this one right here would be for column, and there'll be variations of the columns. This one would be the bar chart. This one right here would take care of the line charts. Here are all the pie charts, and there are several other types of charts that we didn't get to. Most of the others aren't used as much. This one might be used a couple times. This is for a scatter plot, but we're not going to worry so much about that here. But that might be another one that's worth playing around. There's even this option right here where you can actually get recommendations of what type of chart you're going to want to make based on your data. But the whole point here is you're going to pick a particular chart type, and then when you click on it, you're going to have several subtypes. So like, for example, when you click on the column, do you want a normal column? Do you want a clustered column? Do you want a stacked column? Do you want them three-dimensional? There are several options that you can pick. And if you don't like any of those, you can click on the dialog box launcher, which remember is down right here. You can look at all the chart types available to you. Once you've selected your chart option, you can then insert the chart and then designate where this chart's going to be located. So initially the chart's going to appear on the current worksheet, but if you want to, you can change the sheet location of the chart. So what you would do is you would click on the chart, and then you would click on the Design tab, which is at the very top of Excel, and then you'll get a new ribbon of options there, and you can click on the Move Chart option. This will be on the far right side of the ribbon, and then you can select either New Sheet or Object In to move the chart. So New Sheet would mean that you can create a brand new sheet that is just the chart, and this is usually what I would recommend, just so that way you have one sheet that is just the chart. Object In would be more if you want to put the chart into another already existing sheet. There are some additional options in the Design and Layout tabs. We're not going to spend really any time going over all those options, but you can definitely take a look at them. Things like just the kind of the colors or the layouts of the chart. You can also look at things like if you want to add a legend, or if you want to make some modifications to the labels, if you want to take a look at adding grid lines. So all those features are available to you, and I recommend spending some time playing around with those options. Now, you can even click and drag the chart to move it within a sheet. So when you initially create the chart, if you don't like where it's placed, you can move it to wherever you want in the spreadsheet. And then you can even click on the sizing handles if you want to change the size. We even have some options for modifying the chart itself. I mean, we talked about the Design and Layout tabs, and that can change some things like the size and the color and so forth. But we can even change the elements of the chart. So we can change the title, the axis, we can change the format of the text. So we can either do this by going to the Format tab, or we can even right-click on the chart for formatting options. There's even an Add Elements option. By selecting the chart elements, it's the plus icon next to the chart. Now this is an Office 2003 feature, but if you're using like an older version of Excel or Office, the Format tab should have all those options for adding those additional elements. But here we can add a title, we can add data labels, we can add access labels, we can add a legend and so forth, but all that is done with the plus icon in the chart. Let's now do an example of actually creating a chart in our spreadsheet. So we need some data for this to work. Let's say we just put some numbers associated with the years. That seems pretty simple. So we'll do 2010, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 2015, 2016. There we go. And I'm just going to put in some arbitrary numbers in here. Okay. 90, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, that works. All right, so to create the chart, we would go to the Insert tab, and then we see the charts, and we can pick a chart. Let's do a column chart. So we'll do this chart right here, and this looks a little odd because I have my years as part of the data, which we don't want to do. So we can modify this.
So we can do series chart styles, chart filters, chart elements. So this doesn't give me what I want. So what we can do is we can right click and we should be able to select data. Here we go. And this is the data source. This is a very important box for us because we can choose what we want to show up as data in here and what we would show as the axis labels. So here I want to take out series 1 and I want to make series 1 my horizontal axis. So let me go back and show this real quick. So I'm going to edit the horizontal axis labels and I can choose my range. So if we click on this button, I can actually select it. So that's going to be the years that I want. So I'm going to hit enter and click OK. And this already looks a lot better. So we're going to go and click OK here. So now I have the numbers associated with the years. So this looks a lot better. And we can do some more stuff with it. I can change my chart title, call it data. We can add labels to this. So if we go to the plus sign here, chart elements, I can do axis titles. So we're allowed to do that. So let's get rid of that. And maybe I'll call this years. And I have no idea what this numbers represent. So we'll just say numbers. We'll call it numbers. There we go. Numbers. So we can do that. We can change the color of the data if we don't like the color here. We even get format data options here. Let's assume we don't have that. So we can go up here to have the design and a format tab. So like here I can change the fill color. So maybe I like blue. I like blue. Let's make it blue. There we go. So we can make it blue. I can change the size of it. Maybe I want this in a different sheet. So we can do that too. So we should be able to go to the design tab and see move chart. So I can choose to either put it in an already existing sheet or I can click on new sheet. So let's do that. We'll leave it as chart 1. So we'll click OK. And we see now we have a new sheet. I'll move it over here called chart 1, which just has the chart data. So sure enough, we can do that. And then we see here that some of the stuff here is pretty small. Let's see if we can increase the font size a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. That's easier to read. So we can change the font size if we want to. We can change the font itself. If we don't like the Series 2 legend here, we can get rid of that. So that should be under legend. Okay, so we can get rid of that. And then maybe we don't like the bar. Maybe we don't like the column chart. Maybe we want it to be something else. So if we can go to design and we can go to change chart type. Maybe I want this to be a line chart. So we can do that. So we can select different types of line charts. Usually we're just going to pick the first one. So we'll click OK. So sure enough, it's a line chart. And then once again, I can go to the format. I can change it. So maybe I don't like the color of this. So maybe I want to make it blue or something like that. So there we go. It's blue. So we have a line chart now, which is shows us some things. So we can do all sorts of stuff here to play around with our charts. I mean, we can add chart elements here if we want to. We can change colors if we don't like the current colors. There's different styles here that we can use if we want something really weird. That's really weird. But we can do all sorts of stuff with this. We can select our data, which gives us the same box. So maybe we want to change our data. We can add some stuff to it. So the whole point here is we can do all sorts of stuff with our charts.